Well, howdy, folks. Welcome back to what could be any nondescript cornfield anywhere in America, but of course it is not. This is our farm on Taheton County. It has been some time since we were last here. In fact, we'd only just finished planting this corn last time, and now it's up. So good to see. It looks like we are getting a good stand of corn, actually. It's sort of, can't see any skips, any misses, any doubles, or anything like that. So just thought we'd come out and take a quick look. Now, we do have a few weeds around. We're going to have to deal with those at some stage. Can get in and tackle them with a weeder, so I do just wonder whether we might get in and do some mechanical weeding rather than running the sprayer past it, just so we don't do any damage to the plants with the herbicide. I know it's all pretty resilient and things like that now, but the more we can do without doing too much damage, it's actually not a huge amount of weeds. There's a few more patches down here you can see. It was just up on top of the hill, we didn't have too many, but you can see a few more down there. But that's not our plan for today. We'll leave that for a little bit later in the month. The main plan today is we need to get in and get some more planting done. You can see down there in the cornfield that hasn't been planted yet, that is going to get soybeans. And on top of that, we also have our own field that we need to take care of. We need to get over and plough that together and also make it into one field and get in and plant it. Now, I hadn't decided what we were going to do with that, but I have decided we are going to put some soybeans in it. I had hoped to be able to make it row crop ready and do it with some proper row crop things and experiment with that interrow intercropping that we've done previously on No Creek Farms, but I haven't been able to transfer the save across successfully into a row crop ready version of the map, and the idea of having two versions of the map running at the same time just to be able to do the row crop ready stuff didn't fill me with much excitement. So here we are. We're just going to make do with what we've got and put some more soybeans in there. But just having a little bit of a look around, everything seems like it's in pretty good order. There's our sprayer. Like I said, we did have that. But yeah, that's the plan. So we will have to get in with the well, in fact, we don't. We can direct drill with this, can't we? We can plant straight into that corn stubble. I'm just wondering whether we blast it with the disc or not, put the field cultivator over it or not. But I wonder whether we might be better off just direct seeding into what we've got. Well, to give it some thought, I'll go over and see what the ground's like, and then we can decide from there. But that's the plan. Let's pull the plough out first. I want to go and get that field ready so we can go straight from planting one to the other, and we'll make our choice, decide what we're going to do from there. Well, it's nice to get the FW60 out again. We haven't used this for quite some time. It's kind of been sitting there idle, really, not doing too much. We're just going to get it hooked up here to the plough, get that done, get rid of those hydraulic hoses, get them put in. That's all good to go. So we'll run over, we'll go and make a start on the field. Now, I'm in two minds with what we do with the soybeans, whether we do plant directly into that corn stubble. On one hand, I like the idea of not running two tractors over the field, not doing any cultivation, any tillage, and just planting direct in. On the other hand, there seems to have been quite a few weeds that have come up in amongst the corn stubble over winter, or probably more so in spring. I just don't know. It might mean that we have to, at the expense of not tilling the field first, we may have to go over it with some herbicide a little bit later on, because like I said, this isn't just a few spots of weeds. We seem to have managed to get weeds across the whole field, but we'll take a look at that once we get over to the other one, see what that one's like. Maybe we could do a split. Maybe we could direct drill into one of them, use some no-till into one of the fields, and cultivate the other. We'll figure that out. But Uncle is floating around, so he can give us a hand with some field work if we need to before we get into some planting, just to try and save a little bit of time. But anyhow, we carry on, head on over and go and get this little bit of the field ploughed up. There's not too much to do, so it shouldn't take too long. Probably take longer to get there than it will to get the plough set up and running. Well, there's a pretty good example. Look at the weeds in amongst the field. That just seems to be a field of weeds. So I reckon, based on that, particularly over here, I wonder if we do actually run the field cultivator through it before we do any work. Mainly, as I was thinking about it for this one, is that we did get some lime put on here, if you recall, at the end of last autumn, just before winter, we did, oh dear, we did get some lime put in there, so it would be actually nice to sort of chop that into the ground a little bit, mix it all up, and make sure that it does get down into sort of the soil structure. So I think on that basis we will come down and get this field cultivated, or at least get the other one of them started at least, so we can get some planting done. Now, my plan is just to come in here, basically just run along this and plough up this little part. So we'll get this lowered down, probably have to turn on our field create, make sure that's all set up. So it's the ground, we should be able to rip that up, there we go. So we are just going to have to run along this once. It's not a very big section, but it'll make things a little bit easier when we come to planting and harvesting and things like that if we can treat this all as one field. Much easier. Big long runs crossways rather than the shorter ones up and down, so it should work out quite nice. So we'll just get this done really quickly, and then it's back to the yard, hook up the field cultivator, the big disc harrow that we've got back at the yard, and I think we'll get Uncle started on doing some work. And then we can follow behind once he's got into the fields proper and get started on some planting as well. Alright, well there we go, that's all done. It took us a little bit longer. I had to muck around a little bit with some pesky little trees down there which wouldn't plough in. I had to obviously landscape to paint them out and then go back and plough them, but that's us all sorted. So, back to the yard now. We will get Uncle set up. I think because this field's a bit further away, we may actually start in the field over there, get Uncle's field done first, and he can get in and get started, and then by the time we've filled up with seed and all that sort of thing, got the beans into the back of the planter, then we can of course get in and start going. But that should give him a chance to at least get ahead of us a little bit before we want to do that. We need a decent amount done, headlands and probably some up and down rows started before we can get in there and start doing any planting behind him. So let's get on back, get everything hooked up for Uncle and send him on his way. Well, there we go, that's Uncle all set up and off and started. Looks like we're going to get rid of all of those weeds, which is really good. They were really bugging me, so I know it's kind of a little bit of a moot point whether we're getting rid of them or just reactivating the seeds and giving them more of a chance to germinate again, but at least it means that we'll be able to get in here and plant into them and not have weeds everywhere. Hopefully we won't get them germinating in quite as bigger areas, more like we had in the corn where we just get them in sort of random spots rather than all the way through. But we're going to leave Uncle there to get this started. I'm not going very fast, which is not looking very good for us. Hopefully we can get that speeded up a little bit. And we're going to head back up and go and start getting the planter all ready. Then we can get down here and start getting some beans into the ground. It's going to be good. Now, the one thing we do have with this, we'll talk about it when we get back up there, though, of course the soybeans are all in bags on the pallets, not using the Pro boxes. So we don't have the tender that we had last time anymore. That has gone back. And as helpful as it wasn't going to work very well without having to empty all the bags into a box, and just seemed pretty wasteful to go through and do that. So here we are, we'll make do with what we've got, but let's get back up to the farm and go and get things sorted. Well, Uncle doesn't like doing many things fast, does he? He's definitely going to take his time, making sure he does a good job on getting that field done. So we don't really have to rush too much on getting this planter all filled up. So it is all set up there. We've got a little bit of seed left in it. We probably need to take that out because that'll be corn. There's a little bit of fertilizer in it too. Of course, being soybeans, we're not going to need a great deal of fertilizer. So I'll see if we've got some liquid fur in here. Can't remember if we've got any tanks of it left or not. What's that? That's fertilizer, isn't it? Yeah. So we've got some here. We might as well put it in and make sure we're fully tanked up, just in case it does try and put some down, but it shouldn't. So let's get this all backed up, make sure the tractor's got some diesel in it. I'm sure we'll give it a bit of a wash down, but we're not going to worry about that today. And get it all ready to go and plant some soybeans. First pallet of beans here, get this put up next to the boxes, and then we'll just have to go along and put them all in individually, and we'll get the liquid fertilizer out as well. So let's get this all sorted out and go and get some planting done. Alright, there we go, get the last of those bags put in. Took about a pallet and a half. We can close those covers up on that now, and we'll go and get some fertilizer out of the shed. Alright, last job, get some diesel put up into the tractor, and that is us all full. So now we've got full on seeds, full of fertilizer, and full of diesel. We can head on over, go see how far Uncle's got. I don't even think he's going to have finished his 2 headland passes yet, but at least once he's started on the up and down rows, then we can start with a little bit more confidence. I just want to be careful that we don't go around the headlands with the planter and he then goes and pulls out and rips up some of the work we've done. So we'll be mindful of that before we get over there, or when we get over there, and once we've started. Well, there we go, that's Uncle twice around the field now, so he should start doing some up and down rows, which should be good. We've used course play and set it up on land, so hopefully once he gets into it, it's going to work out pretty well. Might let him get the first land done, and then we'll go and make a start on the planting. But yeah, that's pretty good. Actually, not too bad. Those headlands are decent wide enough. Might just keep an eye on what happens when he gets to the end, whether he's going to lift up or not. And like I said, I don't want him to go and start to rip up all the hard work we've just done. Now, just while we're here, been had a few inquiries actually from some of the locals, particularly in the equestrian industry. We've got the horse place just up the road there. They asked what we were going to do with this grass and said they'd be interested in getting it mown. So we're going to look into getting some hay made off this, possibly some small bales that they can handle, make it easy for them to do. So keep an eye out, that might be something we do once we've got everything planted and all the crops are in the ground and everything's taken care of. We might look at getting some equipment and see if we can make a little bit of hay. It won't be a huge amount, it's obviously not a big area that we need to worry about, but yeah, it's a simple mower, tedder, windrower, and a little baler, and we'd be good to go. So it could be something to keep us busy while we're waiting for the crops to be ready to harvest. But anyhow, let's just see. Has Uncle made a start? It's getting around to the right section. I wonder if he's going to go all the way to the other side of the field and start on those long rows and come back this way and finish. That'd actually be a good deal if he does. So we'll just see where he's going to head, and we'll get ready to go and start planting. Well, this field ain't going to plant itself. It does look like Uncle's going to go and start on the other side, which is a good idea. So we're just going to get in here, get this all unfolded. Things get all twisted around, set up, locked into where they need to be. There we go. That looks pretty good. Right, let's see. Get that turned on. I'll lower it down, lock it down there. We can get our row marker arm out the side. Actually, that might help Uncle when he comes around to make sure he doesn't actually go and work over where we've planted. Let's get into it. There we go, getting some soybeans. First soybeans of the season into the ground, which is good. I'm quite excited to be getting these planted. So we'll run around once. I think just looking at how close we are and where that row marker is, we're actually only going to be able to go around once anyhow. Let's see, Uncle's made his way over the other side of the field down there. So hopefully by the time we've been around and then head over there, he's going to have made a decent start and we can get that section well and truly underway. So let's just time lapse a little bit here and get into it, and see you once we've caught up to Uncle. We'll just see how we go over the next wee while. Seed's not going down too fast, fertilizer's not moving at all, which is as is expected. So we'll just carry on and see where we end up. Well, we're making some good progress here on the seeding. I can't say the same thing about Uncle. It really is going very slow. It's the one downside to that tractor. The way the gearbox or something is, just does not like going very fast with horseplay or just a standard hired worker, and for that matter as well. But what we're going to do, we're 27%, so we've used about almost 3/4 of our seed. I think we're going to have to top up, but only have to top up once. So we'll take the chance while Uncle's busy. We'll head on over. Now I'm just wondering whether we can run around the edge of this field. We can just about sneak down a couple of the rows. So while we're here, we'll run around the edge and go and get topped up with some seed. That'll give Uncle a chance to get a little bit further ahead, and we can then come back and carry on going. Well, we took a little bit longer than I had thought. Aunt invited us in for some morning tea, and I couldn't turn her down. She had some of her scones baked, so we didn't tell Uncle because he's been soldiering away over here with that rather slow tractor. But at least it means he's got a little bit ahead of us, and it means we can focus on getting the rest of the field done, and hopefully with this head start now he's got, he'll be able to head on over to our fields and make a start over there. There you go, you can just see him. He doesn't have too much of the field left to do down there. So we're just going to carry on, race through this as efficiently as we can. Shouldn't take us too much longer to do, I don't think. We're pretty fast once we get on these up and down rows. We can cover some ground. So carry on, and we will see you when we're finished. There we go, that is the field all finished. It's worked out pretty well. We're getting pretty low on seed, but not quite out, which is good. Obviously, as we said at the start, we have not used a single ounce of fertilizer, so that is all sitting in there, and we didn't expect to. Soybeans obviously don't need any nitrogen. Now, we're going to head back up to the farm and go and get this all topped up. Uncle's headed on over to our field, and he has made it a start over there on the cultivating, so by the time we get over there, it should be all well into the field. Hopefully have a decent amount open for us so that we can get in there as well. But yeah, like I said, first things first, we will head back up to the yard. But I think we're going to wrap things up there for this episode. Not sure whether we will show you seeding the other field or whether it's just something I might get done and move on to the next tasks. I'm not sure. We will see how things sit over the next few days and amongst other things. But for now, that is going to do it here for us on Taheton County. Nice to be back here on the farm, and nice to be making some progress and working towards getting all our fields planted and then starting to think about some harvesting and things like that. So it's good to be back. Anyhow, as always, thank you all very much for watching. I hope you've enjoyed this episode, and I'll catch you in the next one.